Cynthia. Welcome back to my channel. And this is a place where we believe in people, in purpose, and in poetry. So, y'all, I've been having so much fun with my YouTube channel. Like, filming different things, creating different series, working a different part of my brain, finding what works, what doesn't, right? But I want to thank you all so much for joining me yet again. So May kicks off my entrepreneurship series, you guys. We are going to be talking all month about finances as an entrepreneur, about some creative ways to even start your business, as well as some strategies that you might want to implement as you become an entrepreneur. It's really, really different for me, I would say, because I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also an artist. So I call myself an artist entrepreneur. So I understand that, a lot of people have different businesses, right? You have different companies. You might be selling different products. You might be offering different services. It took me a while for me to even figure out the differences between the kind of company that I had, the kind of service that I offered, and even sometimes like the differences between offering a product and a service, right? Because that's two completely different things. So I'm going to be sharing some tips about my journey as well as my story, and I hope you guys stick around. So today I'm telling y'all all about how I quit my 9 to 5 and never looked back, honey. Okay, never looked back. So I've always considered myself a really hard worker. That's just how I was raised. Like, I would see my mom busting her tail day in and day out to take care of 3 children, and so that's sort of where I picked that up from. Even back in undergrad, I held down like a few different jobs while going to class, while being very active on campus, just being involved in different organizations, as well as just performing everywhere. Poetry, and I've said this multiple times before, poetry had always been a part of my life, and it was back then too, in high school as well as undergrad. Once I graduated college and I was sort of faced with the daunting question of, so what do you do now? Poetry was there. I was like, yo, let me go ahead and actually pursue this thing and see where it might take me. And I told myself, like, okay, so if this is where I need to be, then this is what I must do to get there. I sort of like worked backwards for my goals, and I started looking for jobs. I didn't necessarily look for 9 to 5 because I wanted something that was super flexible. And so I started working at Old Navy. Yes, okay, girl, like I was dealing with all types of Black Friday situations. I was dealing with like Christmas sales, Easter sales at Old Navy. Your girl worked her way up from the bottom. I started off in the pricing team. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I started off in the pricing team and worked my way up to be like one of the dopest cash registers ever. Like, I love meeting customers, love talking to people, love getting to know new people, all of that, and love just helping people. After about a year or so there, I grew out of that role. I applied at the Ohio State University and got my first 9 to 5 job at OSU. So y'all, I get to OSU, right? And I'm just like, this is great. This is great. But the schedule was kicking my butt. The schedule was kicking my butt. I had to wake up at like 6 a.m., be to work by like 7. And y'all know the struggle. Like, y'all already know the hustle, right? Like, grind. Especially because I was like transitioning, I would say, from like this undergrad college girl to like being like a woman, you know what I mean? And so I wanted to make some substantial money to actually prove that like all my hard work was visible, was great, was like garnering something substantial. So I continued working at OSU for 2.5 years, but I want to stop the story here and let you guys know that within that 2.5 year span that I worked at OSU, I was still performing poetry all over my city. So I was in the creative community, meeting tons of other creatives. I was building the clientele in the city, but also building my clientele on campus. I remember like at some point in time, I was working at Old Navy, working at OSU, and still performing. Sometimes I would leave OSU in the afternoon, and then I would like rush to Old Navy to do like a part-time like night shift gig or whatever, and then like I would have to perform on the weekend. So I would like have to leave Old Navy or leave OSU and drive up to like another city in Ohio and perform. It was great, but it was tiring. It was back-breaking work. And then came the familiar itch, right? Like the same itch that I had at Old Navy to want to grow and challenge myself a little bit more, but now having it at OSU. I worked there for 2.5 years, and in that time frame, I learned so much about myself. So I was faced with 2 options. I was faced faced with two options at my first big girl job, 9 to 5 at OSU. First option behind door number A was, do you want to stay at OSU, work your way up, and eventually be promoted at a different college or in a different position? Or do you want to pursue poetry for real this time? Up until this point was performing poetry, having fun with it, meeting other poets, really digging in and getting to know what the performance grind was like while I was like working at my 9 to 5. But I wasn't fully pursuing poetry, right? Like I wasn't fully telling myself like, all right, this is my passion and this is what I said I wanted to do, so let me go ahead and do it. And I understood at that point that I needed to make money and I needed to save my money in order to eventually fuel this passion, right, in this like creative side of my life. But I was faced with the option, go behind door number A or go behind door number B. And I chose door number B. I would say that that was a pivotal moment for me. Like the job that I was working at OSU, again, was great. The money was wonderful, but it wasn't enough. So I chose what was behind door number B. I left my 9 to 5 and I decided to get my master's in fine arts. Because I was working, I think, at a university, it was natural for me to transition. For me, in my mind, I was like, if this is something that I'm going to start a business in doing, I want to make sure that I master my craft. I want to make sure that I see how other people are doing this thing. I wanted to give myself an opportunity, especially starting new, starting fresh, wanting to become an entrepreneur in this area. Let me go ahead and master my craft. Let me go back and study some skills maybe that I might need in order to pursue this passion. It is important to note, you guys, that I didn't jump in head first and say I'm just gonna go ahead and become a full-time performance poet. I worked my tail off. I was working at OSU in customer service. I was working at Old Navy in customer service. I was performing all over the city. And all of this, right, even especially on the days where I would get tired, reminding myself that this is what I said I want to do, that I have an end goal, that I want to become this dynamic performance poet. So that's why I left my 9 to 5. I needed to pursue this thing that was extremely important for me. Even after I started pursuing my MFA, I had a job, like a part-time job, while I was in my master's program, and a year into my master's program, as well as a year into occupying that position as well, I left that too because I felt like things just kept getting in the way of me pursuing this thing that I wanted to do. And so I saved my money, I set my goals before I actually leaped in and jumped in head first. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Talking about all of these things really did take me back into my journey and really got me to thinking about how far I've come and how grateful really that I am to God for making it this far. So I usually talk a lot about my journey and my story, about writing, performing, and entrepreneurship. So if you want to hear more about any of that, you can certainly check out any of the videos that I've posted already on my channel. I still have so much further to go, but I'd love to share my experiences in the upcoming videos this month. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and stay tuned for more content. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.